All right. Good evening,
And hello,
everyone.
Dwayne.
Good evening. So, on
Really?
behalf of Chief Bailey, Mr. Dwayne Richards, I want to welcome everyone who'll be joining us this evening. If you're joining us during the replay, thank you so much for being here. And don't forget to leave a one in the comments if you're here for the first time, or maybe type in your name. Maybe even share with us where are you from, right? Where are you from? So we can come back and acknowledge you for being here. And also, if you have any questions, please feel free to write them in the comment. Okay. And then during any time of this presentation, if you would like to join us live on StreamYard, we're actually using StreamYard right now for this conversation. We're talking about habits tonight. We're talking about the 10 keys to success and the wealth formula. So if you would like to join us, we'll be watching on, I guess, the comments. So just type, invite, the word invite, or invite me to Streamyard, and we'll send you the link. Okay, to come and join us this evening. We can only have 10 people max, and every week we want to be able to grow this. It started with Chief Billy, myself, and now we have Chief Billy, Dr. Richards, one of the best chartered CPAs on the planet, in my opinion, who's joined us. So we went from 2 to 3. So let's see if next week we can go from 3 to 6. So again, welcome everyone. And I'm going to start this evening with 30, 60 seconds with Chief Bailey. Chief Bailey, tell us a little bit about yourself and what we're going to be doing tonight.
Hello, everyone. I am Lester Bailey, and I'm so glad that you're here with us tonight. It's of the wealth formula. How about learning principles? And we all know that so many things that we want to do as into building our wealth, building our thoughts, but we find ourselves still looking like, I remember being a police officer, now retired, and I understood one of the biggest things were your disciplines. What disciplines do you have in order to build your wealth, to build your just to build your life? What are those things that you're looking to build that you're still waiting on, and you're wondering why hasn't it come so far? What's been the delay in your lifetime? What's been that thing that's been holding you back? And we're going to talk about it tonight because, Dr. Soul and I, and, and others who have been able to make success understands that our habits are the things that we need to build upon. So we're going to have that as our subject matter. And, I love that subject because your habits have built your success. It's also built your failures. So we're going to, we're going to have a fun time. And that's me in a nutshell. So I'm going to pass the mic over to Mr. Dwayne Richards, who made sure I learned brand new habits when I was in Toronto, Canada. He helped me out an awful lot. So Dwayne, please come on in and talk about yourself and some of the things that interest you.
All right. Good evening, Mr. Bailey. And Luis, good to see you. We had a fantastic conversation the other day. It's I think like 2 hours. I don't recommend spending 2 hours talking, but yeah, it was a good time. A good way to block off a time and get to know someone really a lot better. But on habits, I guess first, Mr. Bailey wanted me to tell a little bit who I am, but so I and Mr. Gordon said I am a CPA, so a chartered professional accountant. We're gearing up for tax season, Lester. I know you're right in tax season in the U.S. They give us another month and a bit before we're up to our eyeballs in taxes. One of those, I guess, somewhat of a habit, but I'm not sure it happened directly, but narrowing the focus. I know Lester's known me for a while, and Lester's known that kind of multiple balls juggling in the air and kind of trying to do lots for everybody. And when I narrowed the focus to say it's taxes, taxes can go all year long. So that was, I'm not sure about that's a habit or not, but it's the narrowing the focus and focusing on one thing. But let me just grab one thing about habits. Actually, I'll go find it in a second. But I do I think my Saturday posts are about habits, and kind of again, we can train the brain. So whether it comes to habits, you can retrain the brain to do something new. And I'm not sure how many days, 21 days, 60 days, 90 days, a lifetime. But someone actually told me, Lester, that you can't actually forget a habit. So if you did something in the past, you can never forget it. You can't remove it. You can, and the key is, so they talk about, is just replace it with something that serves you better. So
wow, I wonder how true it is when someone says, bad habits are hard to break. I wonder if that's what you're talking about, right? The way we create these habits and then bad habits, we can't seem to break them. I'm going to come back to you, Dwayne, because you are a CPA. It is tax season, and I know you have helped many individuals here in the GTA with their taxes. Folks have not filed. You've been able to help them get rid of those sleepless nights and actually get money back. Some of them have been, our clients at Landed for Success. So I'm going to come back to you in a minute about some of the disciplines people should have to make sure that their taxes are taken care of properly. In the meantime, let's jump to young Louise Martinez. Louise, thank you for joining us. I know last week you and Lester decided that this week's topic should be about habits. Why did you choose? First of all, in 30 seconds, tell us who you are, and then why did you choose habits?
Thank you very much for having me again, another Wednesday. My name is Luis, and I think I picked habits because for everything that we do in life, and
looks like we lost him there.
He's back.
Geez, we lost you there for a sec.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah,
now,
I was saying
there you go. Now we're in.
Okay. So I was saying that the habits is something that we all need in our life, right? To become better, right? And get rid of the bad habits in order for us to keep going, right? I was just passing by for the book Atomic Habits. That's a great book to have and to read in order for you to get new habits and get rid of the bad habits, right? And something that I was reading is that most of the time, many of our failures is in performance is because we have a lack of self-awareness, right? And that becomes with the habits that we have, and because sometimes we just unconsciously do things that we don't even noticing. So we need to make a list to the habits that we have, right, in order for us to uncover what we're doing wrong.
Louise, can I put you on the spot?
Yeah, okay. Let's
So
see.
you're saying, sometimes there are things that we do unconsciously.
Yeah.
Habits that are not good for us. Can I put you on the spot when it comes to our business or your business? Can you think of maybe a habit
100%.
that you unconsciously...
Cell phone.
Okay.
Cell phone is something that I think I discussed with you, and I get so many messages, and sometimes I just need, I feel like, right? Yeah, exactly. Phone, I think, is a big bad habit, right? Because we just feel the zzz, or the vibration or the picking, right? And we feel the necessity of attending that, but in the long run, in the business, it's a bad habit. So I need to take, like I'm working on it, because since last time that we spoke, Gordon, you told me sometimes those messages don't even need to be respond right away. And I need to focus, right? And exactly what Diane was saying about time management, right?
Yes.
You need to focus on what you really are doing. Like, let's say 3 hours of hard work, it can be 3 weeks of one person that is not having that time management for that good habit. Make sense?
It does make sense. What's really neat is, we're talking about 10 keys to success and ways to create wealth. And I saw something today, Louise, that said, don't file your taxes. Let me file them. And the accountant said, well, just let me file them for you. Does that make sense? And so sometimes there's things we don't need to do ourselves. Like tonight, one of our members from Landed for Success is in Hong Kong, Michael Young. And he's talking to another one of our members here in Ontario. So one's in Hong Kong, one's in Canada, and they're talking about how to be more productive. For example, let's say a virtual assistant. Do you have a VA? Are there things that you can actually outsource to someone who could take care of some of the tasks so you don't have to take care of yourself? So one of the bad habits I have is I think I need to take care of everything myself. And I find it very hard to delegate. So I'm going to jump to Lester Bailey and then jump to DR Richards. I see he's got something he wants to show us. So Lester, share with the folks in 30 seconds who you are and what is there a habit or a good habit in terms of principle of success that you would like to confess to, or something that you have some really good habits that can inspire us to success as well?
Again, I'm a retired police officer, so everything that we had to do had to be done at a certain time and a certain place. And I developed habits because of what the police department taught me to do. But one day I retired from the police department and I developed a brand new habit of how to become lazy, how to put procrastination, in the front of my list of things to do. And it amazed me that I managed to gain weight. I walked around, I talked to lazy all day. And one day I wanted to do something special for myself, is to get up off the couch. And I finally decided to get off the couch and I was going to walk to my mailbox, something so simple. We've all had to go and pick up a package from somewhere. Well, my mailbox happens to be at the end of the block. So I wanted to find out. I decided to say, let me see what this would take. So I started walking 377 to my mailbox. And thought that was the longest trip in the world. I realized that my new habit says I had to go back home. The habit of going home, everybody can recognize. But when you set out to do something, you don't always look to see what is the best course of action. And you find out that when you've gone so far, you still have to return back. So I began a habit of getting up and walking each and every day. I started out with 377 steps a day until I was able to do 10 miles a day. Some days I was doing a lot more. I won't say as I made sure that I walked 10 miles a day. And I wanted to keep that
10
as
miles
a
a day.
habit. Now, did it take me to 21:45?
From 377 steps.
Yes.
To over 10 miles a day. Congratulations.
Right. Yeah, and that's actually, it comes out to, just in case anybody wants to count, it comes out just short of 20,000 steps. Just to know how many more steps I actually included. And in doing that, I understood that I had to walk at a certain time of the day. So usually when you retire, the time that you get up in your day is when you feel like waking up, because you don't have to punch a clock. And I know everybody would love to have a day they don't have to punch a clock, because that's one of your habits. You're so used to punching a clock every day. You don't understand when someone is retired, you get up when you wake up. And I had to learn, okay, I've woke up, I'm done this. And I started changing my habits to start walking every morning at 4:30 in the morning. So which meant I had to get up earlier than 4:30 in the morning in order to begin my walk. Now, when I had to be at work before, I didn't have to be there until 6 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 6:30. 4:30, being out the door at 4:30 was a change. And it took me days and weeks in order to build a new habit. So if it's something that you really want to do, make it a habit, make it a priority, make it to be that thing that you want to do above everything else. That's why we love talking about habits, because if you make good ones or bad ones, whichever one that you do the most will be the one that sets up the most, and to make sure everybody actually understands that. And thank you all. We really appreciate you. We're just talking about the wealth formula and the 10 keys of success, but we're making sure in talking about this that we tell you one of the biggest things that you can do is work on your habits. Back to you, Dr. So.
Amazing. So your habits led to you being much healthier. Thank you. So let's talk about the health of our taxes for a minute, because somebody once said it's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. I remember an individual telling me that he made $1 million one year. I said, that's amazing. He said, yeah, but Gordon, I spent 1.2 million to make $1 million. So it doesn't make sense, right? To spend 1.2 million to make $1 million. You're losing money. So it's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. So I can't think of a better person than Dwayne Richards to talk to us about taxes, money, and habits of making sure that, that when the tax man comes calling, we have everything in order.
All right, thanks, Gordon. I'm going to take it one step further. It's not necessarily about how much money you keep. It's also, how do you put the money to use? How do you choose to spend your money? Luz and I had a great conversation on Monday, and I actually I did a little research on the weekend. I posted about the habit, and maybe Mr. Bailey can relate to this too, the habit of drinking water. And the importance of drinking water, that we need to drink water. So I crunched a few numbers, Mr. Bailey. You Mr. So will appreciate some number crunching. I actually asked, it's pretty interesting, I actually asked the Chat GPT to do some research for me. And so we added up how much the dollar value that Canadians spend on drinks per year. So this is alcohol, juice, and pop, bottled water, and coffee, and that 5 things add up to $40 billion is what Canadians spend on drinks, when we can drink water off the tap. So again, it's how we choose to, not once we figure out how much money we can keep, but then the biggest question is, how do you choose to spend it, invest it, put it to work for you? Because if I save, help you save a whole lot of money on your taxes, how do you choose to put that money to work for you after you pay the tax man? No difference here in Canada or in the US, Mr. Bailey. It's like, how do you choose to put your after-tax dollars to use? That's the bigger thing, because we've seen a lot of lottery winners win a lot of money, and it doesn't last very long because they just don't know what to do with the money after they
let me ask you this. What is what's one thing that you think someone with more money in their pocket should be doing to continue to create wealth? And then I'll let you answer 60 seconds, Dwayne, and then I'll let Luis answer 60 seconds, and then Lester answer 60 seconds. So if you won a lottery, what should you be doing with that money right now to create wealth?
That's such a good question. Is it real estate? Is it investments? It's really, so part of it comes back to, some people say, like, give it, not give it away, but put it to use, right? Me personally, I guess if someone won some money, still a big believer in putting your money to work for you, savings. So actually putting it not under the pillow, but putting it into the market. People say, well, the market goes up and down and sideways, but there's still some good quality. There's some good quality. I can't say what they are, but there's some good quality investments out there, and just have it, because again, from a wealth point of view, Gordon, dividend income is taxed at a lower rate. Capital gains are taxed at a lower rate than earned income. So if you can get your money working for you, and really it becomes a personal preference, right? Because some people I would go with whatever you know best. Take advice from wise people. Don't necessarily. I was listening to someone today. He's like, don't take advice from broke people. Take advice from wise people, but also invest in something that you know. I don't necessarily know real estate, so real estate isn't my first choice. I don't necessarily know anything about cryptocurrency, so cryptocurrency is not going to be my first choice. But for someone who do know those segments, maybe that's their first choice. So I would say invest in something that you know.
Wow. Invest in something. What's neat is I know for some people it's a slow and steady growth, but the S&P 500 is slowly bouncing back, right? So like anything else, it's just, I believe, consistency over time, like what you just said. Luis, thank you, Dwayne. Your thoughts? Oh, you're a mortgage broker.
Yes.
Right?
I just want to add something else that Dwayne said. He says, invest in something that you know. And I want to phrase something from the book that says, you want to play a game where the odds are in your favor, right? Like, for example, in my case, I know real estate. So what I would invest,
It's called the house, the casino. Like if you got
exactly,
you got to
right?
own a casino, Luis.
So what I would do first, I would invest in myself so I can sharpen my tools, right? So I can invest in I don't know, schools or something, whatever knowledge that I need to require, or if any sort of skills that I need to add, that I would invest on that education. So I would invest in myself, and then I will invest in my business, whatever I'm doing, right? And the rest, I think I will just go and invest where the odds are on my favor, that I think is in real estate. That's what I know how to play the game, right? And having professionals like Dwayne, right? Like he knows everything about taxes. Like he's very smart about it, right? He knows like how to play the game in taxes, so you need someone in your team. I will invest money with professionals to play with in my team, right? That's what I would do. Is Gordon here? We lost him.
No, I'm here. That's amazing. So invest in
Well, Gordon is still all the way
professional.
around. I'm going to
Professional.
jump in when the screen
Yeah.
is still coming. And
I
I'm
love
going to
that.
piggyback off of
Go ahead, Lester.
I'm going to piggyback off of Dwayne. And one of the things that Dwayne says is, know your investment. And your first investment should always be with you. What is it that you know? When I started out, I invested in the personal development space because I knew that they knew what I did not know. It's so many people that are going out there. So you have to go to places where people are. Dr. So and I love certain people, Anthony Robbins and, Les Browns and other people are there. I wanted to hear what they had to say and what was some of their directions. Because you don't know, if you don't invest in personal development, then you've already missed out on half the things that you would do. This is why we call it habits. Because when you don't have the information, how can you buy real estate? I mean, if someone tells you to go buy a tent and stick it on the wall, and you buying, a 10 by 10, and they say that you can make $1 million. Now, that may not be the best investment because it's my real estate. It's my little small thing versus buying a skyscraper. If you don't know what a skyscraper is, or if you've never really seen it, in the city of Chicago, we had one of the tallest buildings ever called the Sears Building. Now it's called Willis Tower. And, for Chicagoans, it'll always be the Sears Building. Excuse me for you Willis Tower people. But that skyscraper is 110 floors. When you look at what is it that you want, for me, if I'm going to invest in things today, because I'm researching it and I'm getting personal knowledge, is in the health industry, of course, because I don't know anybody who doesn't want good health. Everybody I know at least wants good health. And my second one would be artificial intelligence world. So I'm going to go and find someone that's in those two worlds that will help me, because I can see where the world is going. I don't know enough about it, but I'm going to find someone that knows so much about it. And there's so many reading materials. If you can't find it on Google and you can't find it on YouTube or one of those, informational platforms out there, then you start finding the professionals. We call it whoever has the specialized knowledge. Go find them. Right. If you're looking for someone to do taxes, as well as, Mr. Richard, you will find out. Let me know, what does he know that I don't know? If I talk about a tax plan, I said, all my receipts and put them in this paper bag, and I'm going to bring them to Dwayne. He's going to look at me and see how much of my mind that I've lost. But he's going to help me to get this, get organized, a new habit. He's going to help me to get organized. So when I bring him files instead of pieces of paper of, okay, I bought a pair of shoes, December of last year, but I think I had the same pair of shoes that I bought in March of last year. And can I write them off? When you have knowledge, invest in yourself to get the knowledge that you need most. What would you suggest?
Sorry, I missed that, Lester. Who's that question to? Oh, that question was to me, Lester?
It's you. Yes.
Sorry, can you repeat that question again?
Yes. The question is, what would you invest in? The same question you gave us.
Oh, I love what you talked about. AI is something that could be scary, right? Because a lot of people say AI could replace, automation could replace a lot of jobs, et cetera, in the future. But, technology advancement always really helps in other ways in our lives as well. Dwayne mentioned AI earlier, writing content, et cetera. What are those things where you can actually use AI to write content? There's AI that can actually build your videos. But Sarah Sunshine's on here right now. Thank you, Sarah Sunshine. And she said, if I won a lottery and had some extra money, I'd build a greenhouse. I'm paraphrasing, so I can learn how to grow my own vegetables. Well, the good news is you don't necessarily need a greenhouse. I, for example, have a box at home that's about the size of this Blue Yeti. That's it. I don't know how many of you guys have young children. My baby granddaughter is maybe 2.5 years old. And at age 2, we have a little box about the size of this Blue Yeti. And we started growing microgreens using 100% hydroponic. A little box, the proper pump with water, with some seeds, and we grew microgreens. And we take these microgreens, and when we made a sandwich, we would throw it in our sandwich, we throw it in our salad. We make bean sprouts. I don't know if you guys cook with bean sprouts. And so currently, I've been fortunate. We talk about the 10 keys to success and creating habits to create wealth. And once, that wealth is taken care of, wouldn't it be nice if you can just do things for fun? And so one of the passion projects I have right now is I'm working with some individuals who are actually doing hydroponic. And we're actually talking to a major bank where we want to install units that are kind of like a piece of furniture. Can you imagine if you have something that looks like a piece of IKEA furniture? You can install in your kitchen, you can install in your living room. Actually, you don't even install it, you bring it home, plug it in. And you can grow lettuce, you can grow vegetables at home. But what we want to do with this major bank is install them in their offices and branches across the country for one, sustainability, and two, we want to collect all this food and actually donate it to charity. So Sarah, you don't need a greenhouse. You just need a little box and some ingenuity and some know-how from somebody who knows what they're doing to share with you how to do that. Napoleon Hill talks about accurate thinking. And there's so many of us, we grow up with stinking thinking because people tell us, you're no good, or, you're not good enough, or you're not me, right? You're too skinny. There's all these naysayers that tell us things, right? And we believe some of these things, and we have this stinking thinking. We start thinking things like maybe poverty, right? Napoleon Hill says that both riches and poverty are the offsprings of thought. What are you thinking about? So how do we create habits to start thinking about success versus poverty? So that's why I love, Dwayne Richards. We talked about one time, Dwayne, do you remember, if people lose receipts all the time, come tax season, they lose their receipts. What's a simple way for people to make sure they have receipts? Dwayne, what would you recommend? Something so simple, it's not even AI, it's not technology, that they can make sure they never lose a receipt. Because if you're in a 50% tax bracket, every receipt you lose. If that receipt's worth $1, you just threw 50 cents down the drain. Does that make sense? Would you throw 50 cents? Would you just drop it and lose it? I mean, if you're Bill Gates, then sure, right? It's not that much money. but you wouldn't, if for every dollar receipt you lose, you just lost 50 cents. You wouldn't do that, would you? So Dwayne, what would you recommend as a simple little idea people could use just to keep the
All right,
receipt?
I'm back. Yeah, I just had to. They locked the dog in the office here, and he didn't like being locked in here with us. I'm not sure why, but anyway, he's out. He's loose. Not sure who let the dogs out, but I don't know. I do know who let the dogs in. All right, so Gordon, we actually came up with this a long time ago. We had the the old vanilla envelope approach, which was here's a vanilla envelope, or maybe here's 12 vanilla envelopes, and just each month put all of your receipts. So if it's, we just finished January. So if you're watching right now, it's a perfect time, because maybe you weren't so organized for 2022, but it's a perfect time because we just finished, like, it's February 1st. Maybe we should have like the first day of the month or the last day of the month, everyone comes on and they pull out their receipts and they stuff them in the envelope, because at least you could then show up to your accountant with 12 envelopes full of pieces of paper. Remember, Gordon, a long time we had that envelope system, right? It was like,
Yes,
put everything in the envelopes. Someone I know in the US, he actually got them made up, and it's like like when you used to go to the bank as a business owner, you go to the bank and you have kind of like a zip envelope, and you put all your checks and all of your paper in it to go to the bank. So he made those, and like they're cloth, canvas, and he made them up so that his clients literally just stuff all the stuff in that bag for the year, and then they can just send it off to him for tax time, and for an extra fee, of course. You can process that. A little bit better solution one of my clients has now, and I'm thinking about doing this for clients, is he has the plastic, those plastic boxes. And so he actually brings that to my house and he's got a file folder in each one for each month, got them all labeled, all of his receipts, copy of his bank statements, credit card statements in there, all by month, all labeled, and it's in a box. And then you can just take that box at the end of the year when you're done. You can take that all out, file it. You got to keep it for 7 years. But then you can start you don't have to get another new box. You could just reload it for the new year. So vanilla envelopes is a great way to get started. It's, I'm a little bit guilty, Mr. Bailey, is that about 2 weeks ago, I in my car, I have an armrest, like center console, and it lifts up, and I lifted it up, and there was about 11 months worth of gas receipts. Mm-hmm. So I took a photo of it. So all those gas receipts came into the house, about 11 months worth of gas receipts. Now, the good news is I don't go through those receipts because I use software, but I still have to keep the receipts just in case. But I don't manually handle it, but I do keep those receipts.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's amazing. You know what's neat about receipts in those envelopes we talked about? If all else fail, we've all have a shoebox, right? Just stuff everything in a shoebox. Once a month, go give it to your accountant. When I was in Hong Kong, one of our Landing for Success members took me out to this awesome restaurant. And we had a really nice lunch. And when the bill came, what's even nicer is when he paid for lunch, right? So the first time I paid for lunch, we had the most juicy steak at this beautiful steak restaurant in Hong Kong, right down by the harbor front, right? But the second time he paid for the bill, he took the receipt, he placed it on the table, and he immediately took a picture of the receipt. Is that amazing? Documentation. So he documented the receipt, and we took a picture together. And now he's got a file with the picture and the date. And so if he ever gets audited, there's documentation of the receipt and the business dinner and the person that they had dinner with. And remember when I used to be taught that you immediately take that receipt and you write down the name of the individual you had dinner with, because sometimes people think they can go out for lunch or dinner on their own and expense it, and maybe not, because whether it's the CRA, Revenue Canada, or the tax man down in the US, they're going to be looking at was it really a business expense? Does that make sense? So make sure you get into the habit of discipline. Before we go to Lester, if I
You
could
say
just
get
maybe-
into the habit.
Sorry, hold on one second. Okay, so before we do that, I have a habit of having to learn to share with you guys, and I really do, is that we have the 10 keys to success. Okay, there's 10 chapters in here, there's 10 videos in here, there's a workbook, there's bonus videos and so on in here. And so the 10 keys to success, you can get a copy of this in the entire course by simply going to our website, or what you see on here, right here, it says to purchase the 10 keys to success, just add this number to your WhatsApp. So if you use WhatsApp, add that to your WhatsApp phone list, and simply message the word wealth formula to that phone number, and it'll send you all the information. In fact, if I can just share this with you right here for a second. Can you guys see this? So it'll take you to this page here. Talks about the
Yes.
10 keys to success, the wealth formula. You can create financial freedom, the 6 steps to riches, the power of I am and affirmation statements, auto suggestions, specialized knowledge to create wealth, and so on. There's a lot of information in here, the cheat sheets, the workbooks, etc. And all you have to do again is just text. If you use WhatsApp, send a message with the words wealth formula, and it will automatically send to your WhatsApp the link where you can click on to get this information. Now, I'm not sure.
Lost them.
Okay, I'm losing Dr. So here again.
Somebody
I'm
shuffled,
back. Sorry
that's
about
here.
that.
he
My
shuffled himself.
apologies. So we are back. Okay, so
You for a minute.
yeah, let's move. Thank you, Sarah. Sarah's given us like some really amazing
We lost you, Dr. So.
comments here.
We lost you. You have to say that again.
Okay, so again, if you want to purchase the wealth formula, the 10 keys to success, there's the number. Add it to your WhatsApp and just send a text message to the wealth formula. It'll send you all the information you need about that. All right. Who would like to jump in and talk more about habits? Is there a habit that that's really helped you succeed in business, Luis?
Yeah, I think increasing a good habit on the way I follow up with clients and improving like a little bit on my emailing, right? I think that's a habit that I'm implementing right now that is working, right? Like, for example, before I didn't ask, or like for documentation, I didn't put a limit, right? So we have to set boundaries, and that's about the time management, right? So right now I'm giving my clients 5 days to bring the documents, right? Or if they don't bring those documents in 5 days, they go on the pile and then move on, right? Because it's about expectations. And if my clients expect me to work 100%, 200% with them, I need that commitment with them, right? So that's something that I'm implementing as a good habit on my business. Do you guys hear me?
I wonder how many people that are watching
Yes.
can relate to what it was you just said, right? Setting boundaries,
Yes.
right? Sometimes we don't set boundaries, and then we let other people dictate and just eat up our time, valuable time that could be spent on something else. All right, Mr. Bailey. Lester, are you there? Lester Bailey.
Okay, you're cutting in and out. What did you ask?
All right, so habits. What's a habit that that you live by that's helped you succeed in your business?
Always be ready. Always be ready. We're always trying to do things at the last minute. Procrastination. And I began a habit of deleting my procrastination by being prepared. Sure, there are things that are going to come to you that you weren't quite prepared for. But if you develop a habit of being in front of, some people say, just in case, I'll make sure that I have water in my car when I'm going out when I'm going out in the streets and I'm going to drive for several miles, be it if it's 15, 20 miles. Do you have water in your car? Or even better, how many people have the habit, and this is a question for you directly, how many people have a habit of filling your gas tank often? Or how many people, this is the second part of the question, have a habit of waiting until your gas tank gets to E before you decide that you need to get gas?
Listen, when I was driving, Lester,
Things
when I was
like
driving,
that
I always
get in the
I
way
always thought E. Lester, are you there? I always thought E meant
Yes.
enough, not empty.
Most people do because they don't see a purpose, but you're going to drive the car. That's first. You want to go a distance. Second, how are you preparing yourself to be ready to make sure that you do what? Not run out of gas. I've seen people gas can, and I never quite understood, why do you buy a gas can? Just in case I run out of gas. Think about that for a moment. If you are planning to run out of gas, you should have the habit of doing what? Putting gas in the car first, so you don't have to worry about having a gas can. These are habits, little things that you do daily makes the difference. I can guarantee you, out of these four gentlemen that I'm speaking with, every one of us has paper near them that we can take notes. So that way, just in case that is our mind, we are prepared because we have the habit of taking notes. Because some of us can remember everything from the day we were born. Many of us can't remember what we had for Christmas dinner. What is the habit that you need to form? With us doing the wealth formula and attention, we're using WhatsApp, and we want you to go get your WhatsApp app because we're using it on a regular basis. So that way that if you want to talk with us, other than here, you can talk to us on WhatsApp. But what habit are you forming to make sure that you're prepared for the inevitable? Now I'm going to turn this over to, the brilliant mind of Mr. Dwayne Richards, because I love listening to him. I miss his.
All right, the dog stopped barking, so I can take myself off mute. One of the posts I did this morning, actually, Mr. Bailey, was talking about wealth. So on Saturdays, I post about habits. On Wednesdays, I post about wealth. And so we know that there's two ways to. So again, we'll link it to habits in a second here. But there's two ways to increase our wealth. One is to earn more, and the other way is to spend less. But when it comes to earning, my post today was, again, goes back to, I would add to that question that Gordon asked a while ago, which was, how would I invest? And we talked about it. And the post today was about increasing my value. And we know, there's all the good story about, there's the two lumberjacks, right? The two lumberjacks, and the young lumberjack grabs his axe and he just starts chopping, and he gets done. The experienced lumberjack spends like the first couple hours sharpening his axe before he starts to chop. At the end of the day, who has more wood chopped? It's the guy, the experienced lumberjack who took time to sharpen his axe before he got started. So the post today was about, how do you plan and I will ask my two gentlemen with me today is, how do you plan to increase your value this year? So is it reading books? Is it education? Is it taking a course? Is it finding a mentor? So actively participating in your future by figuring out how is it that you're going to increase your value, because we know as we increase our value, we will attract another level of potential clients, but also our current clients will continue to pay and possibly pay us more because we're bringing new expertise to them. So Mr. Bailey, or maybe I'll put it to Louise first as to what are your plans for 2023 to increase your value?
Actually have a course coming on February 16th, and it's about how to help business owners to get better products in mortgages, right? Specialize in business owners, I think, is one of the things that I really want to do, because I totally understand the feeling of the bank is going to give me a no, or I don't have many options. But what if you have options? It's something that we were talking on Monday, right? Getting a mortgage for a business owner sometimes is very difficult, right? And in order for them to qualify for a house, they need to pay themselves more, and then they have to pay more taxes. And there is a total conversation about taxes and how do you want to pay yourself if you're incorporated or you're a sole proprietor. But preparing myself in how to structure those deals, I think is a value that I can bring to my clients, and preparing myself and getting those tools sharpened will help to bring more value in the marketplace. 100%. I think Jim Rohn mentioned that how is it possible that two people that go to the same school and go to the same work, one gets paid more and one gets paid less. So the reason why is because value is exactly what you were saying, right? One person brings more value towards the company than the other one. So why are you willing to, instead of complaining and like, oh, mowing about they're not paying me enough or whatever, why you don't work in your skills? Why don't you pay yourself and start increasing your skills in order for you to bring more value to the marketplace in the first place, right? So I think that was a great question, and that's my answer. Just start always educating myself. I'm always trying to learn something. If there is a course, I'll try to get it, blah, blah, blah. But in this case, when it's about mortgages, always trying to learn how to structure deals, I can help the clients to get better products in the mortgage industry. And besides that, how I can help people to create wealth through real estate. That I think is a very, very good topic.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I love that.
Very good topic.
Luis, you talked about paying yourself first, right?
Yes.
That's so important. We pay our phone bills, we pay our utility bills,
you know what?
We pay our taxes, we pay
were
everybody
talking
else first.
We were talking on Monday. I don't know. Can I show a book?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we were talking about this book.
Oh, if it's not Landed for Success book,
Yes.
you can't show it. No,
Oh,
I'm just
sorry.
kidding. Just kidding.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
This book is Profit First, and we were talking about it on Monday, right? And it talks about how to pay yourself first and how to structure different bank accounts in order for you to, to have the money in the bank, right? So that's a great book if you want to like kind of see the money and learn how to manage your bank accounts. I think Doyen, you can talk a little bit more about that book, right? That is a great. I think that's a great book for business owners.
Amazing. Lester, I know you have a habit of reading Think and Grow Rich. How many
Yes.
days have you read it consecutively now, Think and Grow Rich, would you say?
I stopped trying to count the days because I've been doing it since 2018, since June 10th, 2018. And I'm still reading it every day because to me, my habit is always to try to improve myself 1% each day. And I have learned that even though that you can read the same thing every day, you get a different understanding of what someone meant. You know, when you look at Napoleon Hill, he says, if you can ink it, you can think it, you can achieve it. What does that mean to each individual? Excuse me. when you're thinking of things, what did you really want? If you don't have the habit of what you want and working on, excuse me, working on it, your habit is to not do it. And you want to get to a habit of whatever that you're thinking about to write it down. You may not use the idea today, at this very moment. Write enough information. And you talk about improving, because I believe try to improve yourself at least 1% every day. But if you start looking, if you have enough information, in case you put it down and you walk away, you can come back to it and further it. It's just like writing a book, you know, for anybody that's ever wanted to write a book. There are people that are in this book, Landed for Success, and volume is coming out very, very soon. But when you're looking at this particular book and you look at the stories in it, everyone told a story about how they achieved their next level of success. So one of the tips and clues each one gives you, and every one of my mentors and my coaches always give me something to put back in my mind. Like someone once told me, I believe it was today, book a meeting from a meeting. And when you're thinking about that, how often do you stop to tell yourself, what is it that I'm doing how to get more clients? I don't care what your field of your endeavor is, but in order to build clients, you have to be for what they do. In the Landed for Success community, once a month, we have a speed networking event. Love that speed networking event. Comes with once a month. My habit is to attend that and talk about my business. I want someone to be able to see, what is it that I really want in order to be that success, or am I slowing myself? Developing new habits. Listen to your mentors, listen to your coaches, listen to that person, even a child. And it may turn around and be the difference between you making 10 cents or $10 billion. You know, if you look at, I believe it was Jeff Bezos, somebody once told him to go and read a book, but someday somebody told him, you know, you should go and sell that book. And
wow.
Look at where he is today from reading a book versus selling a book.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
That's it.
Love it. Before we jump to Dwayne, Lester, you know, I remember Jim Rohn says every kid should own 2 bicycles, one to rent, right? One to ride and one to rent. So you can always make passive income by renting your bicycle to somebody else, right? While you're riding your own, right? We have 5 minutes before we wrap up here, before the hour. If you are watching and you want to join us, every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. we're here. We're on StreamYard, so we can have up to 10 people on here simultaneously, where we can have a conversation about the 10 keys to success and the wealth formula, and encourage you to go to this link, go to this page, purchase the workbook. There's a course that comes along with it. If you have any questions about it, please reach out to Lester, myself, or Louise, and Dwayne. We're happy to help answer some of those questions for you. I'm going to share a poem, and then I'll let each one of you rapid fire 30, 60 seconds. I'll start, Louise, and then Dwayne, and then Lester can wrap up on habits. Again, what are your thoughts? Like your thoughts about one habit that you need to, you know, a habit you need to start being more disciplined about in 2023, pay more attention to, or a habit that you're actually using now, right, to help with the success of your business. So here's a poem. It says, "I am your constant companion." Right? Who am I? I am your constant companion. I'm your greatest helper or heaviest burden. I will push you onward or drag you down to failure. I am completely at your command. Half of the things you do, you might as well turn over to me, and I would do them quickly and correctly. I am easily managed. You must be firm with me. Show me exactly how you want something done, and after a few lessons, I would do it automatically. I am the servant of all great people, and alas, of all failures as well. Those who are great, I have made great. Those who are failures, I have made failures. I am not a machine, though I work with the precision of a machine. You may run me for profit or you may run me for ruin. It makes no difference to me. Take me, train me, be firm with me, and I will place the world at your feet. Be easy with me, and I would destroy you. My name is Habit. All right, Luis, 30 seconds, 60 seconds.
Fantastic. Yeah. So you want me to talk about a habit that I can implement this 2023 for my business,
Sure.
right?
That'd be amazing.
Uh,
Yeah.
I will say, how you call this? Time blocking. That's a habit that I really want to implement this year in my business, in order for me to focus in things that I really need to focus on.
Yeah.
That's what it would
Time
be.
block. You want a solution to that? On my calendar link, there's no space for appointments. I don't take any appointments.
Now there you go. Yeah, and something else that I wanted to mention is I wanted to quote something from the book again, that it says the labels of a good habit and a bad habit are slightly inaccurate. They are not good habits or bad habits. They are only effective habits, right? So those ones are going to, basically what we say in Landed for Success, lift you up, right? So that's what I have to say.
Amazing. Dwayne, thank you, Louise.
No problem.
30, 60 seconds. Dwayne, what can we do to create winning habits?
Winning habits. I like this. I like the time blocking too. It's about blocking the things that are important and getting them done early. One thing I'm looking at is they're pretty good at it, but not consistent enough. Is something Mr. Bailey was doing, which was daily movement, because our bodies and our health and our wellness, more than just our health, but our wellness is so important. If as entrepreneurs and self-employed and working for ourselves, if I'm not able to work tomorrow, I'm gonna have to find somebody to do the work for me. I'm not making money. So the wellness side and one of the keys with that is daily movement, whether it be doesn't really matter what it is. It can be simple as just starting to walk, but that daily movement of keeping and getting outside to breathe in some, right now it's extra fresh air. Mr. Bailey, you should come to Toronto right about now. Come on Friday when the polar vortex is in town.
No.
It's extra fresh air.
Amazing.
In Toronto.
Awesome. Thank you, Dwayne. Lester, you have 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
No problem. I'm going to turn down your offer first, Dwayne, because the temperature here is about 70 degrees warmer. But for all of you all, still piggyback on him, Dwayne, talking about this. Mr. Richards had the greatest idea, talking about how important your health is. There was a gentleman by the name of Steve Jobs who became one of the richest men in the world, and he died of ill health. And I want you to understand that whatever that your habit of doing, start writing down the habit that you want to do. Prioritize the habit that you want to work on and do it. Do not procrastinate. Prioritize what that thing is. It's part of the wealth formula. And I want you to really see what is it that you're doing in your mind, body, and spirit that's going to move you forward. For those of you all that want to purchase the 10 Keys to Success, text to WhatsApp 647-765-2069 and text the word wealth formula. For the rest of you all, meet us back here on next Wednesday. We're going to be in, and we're going to talk about, just different subjects. Right here, I guess the picture won't show. It says, about rich Asians, thinking rich. And he's going to have a movie out. So if some of you all that are in the Landed for Success community, make sure you get in contact with us and you find out what John Shin has. I wish that I could turn around and do this the right way. And you're going to text the word TTR movie.
Amazing.
Yes.
Let's see.
I actually know the movie.
Thank you, Lester. We've got 1 minute. Let's see how many rapid fire questions we can get in. Louise, your favorite color?
Blue.
Hey, Dwayne, your favorite ice cream?
I don't eat ice cream anymore. No dairy.
Thank you so much, everyone. Our hour is up. No dairy. Until next time, you guys. Thank you, everyone.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
See you next week.
Thank you all.